Oh hi, welcome to the video. In this video we are going to learn about databases using SQL Alchemy. SQL Alchemy is similar to SQLite but it's a higher level implemented in Python, so you don't have to write any more queries. So it has a pre-built commands known as filter by or .query and stuff like that. So in this tutorial series we are going to learn about SQL Alchemy. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Alright, hi, welcome to the video and let's get started into coding. So in order to learn SQL Alchemy, you have to install SQL Alchemy. That can be done using the command known as pip install flask underscore SQLALCHEMY. You can do that. I already have that, so I'm not going to do it again. So the first thing you need to do is going to import OS, that is the operating system library. Then we need to do from flask. We need to import of course the flask. Make sure to do that. Now we need to import SQL Alchemy. So from flask underscore SQL Alchemy import, I'm gonna say SQL Alchemy. Note that SQL and A is capital, so make sure it's case sensitive, so of course like take care, be careful for that as well. What I'm gonna do is basically I'm gonna say a try block. It's a good habit to, because if the libraries are not found, it's gonna tell us that hey, this library does not exist. So that's a good way usually to write. Except print, I'm gonna say no modules found. Alright, so that's good. Just gonna say here a print statement, all modules loaded. All modules loaded, it's fine. Alright, so once that is done, what you can do is, for step number one would be just to make sure that you just run the file. So I'm gonna say python3 mydatabase.py. It's gonna be, so if you get a message on saying, let me just erase that quickly. So python3, just let me just save it quickly. Alright, so let's say ls and the name of the file is mydatabase.2. so python python3, the name of the file is database.2.py. hit enter. All modules loaded successfully. That means your library is loaded. That's step number one. So once that is done, we need to do three more steps and to get started or to configure our SQL Alchemy. So first of all, we need to define the directory. The reason for using the OS is basically, even if you are on Linux, Mac, Windows, it does not matter, the code will still be perfect. Alright, so os dot, we need to say os dot path dot absolute path. So just gonna say the absolute path, os dot path, and the directory name, so essentially it's gonna give underscore file. So what this does is basically whatever your file name is, it's gonna create a directory here. So if I just try to print it, just to show you what this does basically. So if I do just the print base directory, and also let me print some statements so you can see this in action. So just gonna clear my terminal window. Here you see this is what this line of code does. Basically it's print the directory. So here you can see whatever directory you're working, that's what it does. Alright, so that's done, that's good. Let me just copy this here as well. Oops, here as well. So when we are viewing it, it's a little bit easy for us to see. So once that is done, what do we need to do? We need to configure our app. Remember, we always do that. So app equals to flask, and we pass in what, guys? We pass in the app, sorry, the name, of course. Kidding. Alright, so our app is ready. Alright, so now we need to define certain stuff. So I'm gonna say app.config, and I'm gonna say SQLALCHEMY underscore database underscore URI or data URI, whatever you want to say. Now we need to define the path. So SQLite colon triple this syntax and do os dot path dot join, and what are we gonna join is the base directory, remember, and after that we need to define our database file. So I'm gonna say data, or let's say test.sqlite. Oh no, it was SQLite. Oh yeah, SQLITE. That's it. We have defined the database. So once that is done, we need to define the DB object, of course. So how do we do that? Again, SQLALCHEMY, pass in the app. All right, so that's done. Beautiful. So once that is done, now we need to create some tables, right? So let's do a simple example. This video is already about 4 minutes, so let me just go through this part, and in the part 2 we would be discussing about creating tables and stuff like that. All right, so so we imported all the libraries and modules, then we created a base directory where basically our SQLALCHEMY, or where basically our SQLite database would be, and then we just made some configurations, and what we can do is we can create a simple we can actually create in this video a simple table. So let's do that. So let's define a simple table with the name and age, right? So class person is gonna inherit from db.model, and I want to specify the table name. So this is the manual table name. This is how you write manual table names. I can say PEOPLE, people, yeah, it's fine for this example. All right, so once that is done, now we need to define certain columns, right, in the database. So first of all, I'm gonna give ID, which is gonna be db.column. C is capital, make sure to do that. db.integer, integer, integer. Then I'm gonna say primary key is equal to true. True. All right, that's our first column. They're gonna define name. We're gonna define a name, so it's gonna be db.column. Again, I'm gonna say db.text because the name is the text. That's it. Leave that blank. Age is equal to db.column. Oops. Column. Of course, it's gonna be db.integer because age has to be integer. Do you remember we need to define our default constructor, init __ self. We're gonna take name test by default constructor for creating blank objects. Age equals to 1. You know what, let's not do that. All right, so age, don't forget the colon. All right, so self dot name is equal to name, self dot age is equal to age. So we define the name, we define the age. Just want to make sure the indentation is correct. Looks good, perfect, beautiful. After the once that is done, we need to print when we call this object. We need to print this. So I'm gonna use my overloading. I'm gonna overload the repr function. So I'm gonna say repr underscore self and return. It's gonna return a string. So it's gonna return this name, age. I'm gonna use string formatting. Self.name, self.age, right? So our database is complete. This is our simple database. Remember, we created this. So once that is done, let me see what's the time, because I don't want to exceed more. It's already 8 to 9 minutes. Let's wrap up here. So that's it for this video. In this video, we just created a simple database with columns. We did not run it. In the next video, we are going to do that. So make sure to watch the part 2 of this video, and see you in the part 2.